All right, this is my first time telling the story. I don't know how many of you guys listen to the Moth radio show. Have you ever heard the Moth where people just come up and tell stories of things that happened to them? Well, I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me when I was young and dumb.
Don't say this.
But it's a story about, I guess, love and challenge and triumph and the Winter Olympics, okay? I've got to tell you this before I tell you that. In the early 80s, I had a radio-controlled balloon advertising company. And what we did is we flew miniature radio-controlled balloons around in stadiums and arenas. Well, I got a job in Hong Kong for 2 weeks. And while I was over in Hong Kong, my partner landed a gig at the Calgary Winter Olympics. So what we decided to do is we were going to tow my car behind the RV to Denver, where I was going to pick up my girlfriend, who was in the military, and we were going to continue on up to Calgary, and that went fine. Everything was great. We had a wonderful time at the Olympics. Everything was wonderful. But come Saturday night, when we decided to leave, she had to be at work by 7 o'clock on Monday morning. Now, she's in the military, so if she doesn't get to work at 7 o'clock on Monday morning, she's AWOL. Then she gets in a lot of trouble. So we're driving through Wyoming, and I had driven all night, and I finally gave her the wheel, and she had driven for about a half hour or so, and I wake up, and every red light is on the dashboard of the car. Every light that could be on was on. We pull over to the side of the road, I get out of the car, I look back, and as far as the eye could see, and I mean far, there wasn't a car to be seen. To the left, there were mountains way, we were in the middle of nowhere, okay? So I'm not a mechanic, but I opened the hood anyway, hoping that air or sunlight would fix the problem. So I'm looking, and I couldn't see anything, and a car passes by, and he screeches on the brakes. I'm on a highway. He backs up and he says, "Hey, get in. I'll take you to the next town," which was Buffalo, Wyoming. And that's important because there are 4 people that live in Buffalo. Okay? I'll get back to that. So we get in this guy's car, and we had to go almost 7 miles until there was one of those little turnarounds in the highway to come back the other way for him to take us back to town. And sure enough, as we passed my car the other way, the state troopers were there, putting a ticket on it. So the guy let us out, we go around, we explained to the state trooper what was going on. State trooper said, no problem, got on the radio and called Jeffrey. Like Jeffrey's just sitting there listening to the radio, waiting for this guy to call. So a tow truck comes and gets my car and it takes it back to the garage. Now we're running out of time trying to get her there, okay? We're still 10, 11 hours away and it ain't looking good. So while Jeffrey is checking out the car, I've got my girlfriend going through the yellow pages looking for crop dusters, any kind of transportation to get her to Denver. No luck, but we did find an airport in a town called Sheraton, which was 70 miles closer to the way we were going. So the gentleman decided that it was one of 3 things. All right, it was this, that, or the other thing, and he had to get parts. Well, it was like Sunday, and the parts store, of course, was closed. So we get in the car, we go over to Greg's house. Greg has the keys to the only auto parts store in town. Greg takes us to the auto store. I've got $200 between me and prostitution. This is a very small town, you hear me? So my pickings are slim here, all right? So I tell Greg to buy the 3 possible things that it could be. And time is ticking, and time is ticking. And we had been on the phone with the airport in Sheridan because we were hoping that we could get her to Sheridan. She could get on something small and puddle jump to Denver and not be late for school. So we kept calling them and kept calling them, and of course they closed at 10 o'clock. Well, to make a long story a little shorter, I ended up buying a car from Greg. Was it Greg or Joe? It was the guy who owned the gas station. I bought a 1974 Fury. I don't know if you guys know these land barges. Okay, this thing was huge, all right? So we buy this thing from Jeffrey. He gives me a little receipt that says I own it. And we're going to head to the airport in Sheridan and get a real rental car and go the rest of the way. So he commits up the highway, and it starts to snow. We try to roll up the windows in the car, and they don't go up. We try to turn the heater off in the car, and it don't go off. So we got air at 100 miles an hour coming out of the vents, windows down, snow everywhere. It was just a mess. We make it to the airport at Sheraton 5 minutes after the airport closes. But she had been on the phone so long, pleading with them, that they stayed open. So we run into the airport doors, and greeting us at the rental counter are all the employees at the airport clapping that we had finally made it. All right, now I'm going to make it even shorter, all right? We get the rental car from Sheridan Airport. We're driving into Denver. Now, I've been driving for maybe 18, 19 hours by now with the 2 days and been up. So I'm stopping every 2 hours and running around the car to wake up. I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing jumping jacks, and then go a couple miles, they wear off, I pull over, do jumping jacks, and I noticed that the highway, the side of the highway has disappeared, and I think I'm just tired. I pull over to do my jumping jacks, and I don't know if you've ever been in Colorado during a snowstorm, but it snows. I was in a tunnel on the highway. They use these DPW trucks with big snow blowers on the front of them to just cut a path through the highway. So they are sheer, I mean, imagine you're doing your sidewalk with a snow blower, and you have the big walls, where these walls were 20 foot tall on the side of the highway. So after I realized I wasn't hallucinating, I made it to Denver. We got to the hotel, it was probably about 4 in the morning. I remember she has to be there. At what time? 7 o'clock, right? We get there, we leave a wake-up call for 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we leave a wake-up call. When I woke up at 10 o'clock, we were in a panic. She says she's going to jail, I'm going to jail, I'm going to jail, oh my God. I said, all I can do is call. So she called, and she talked to her staff sergeant, and he changed her shift until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's my story.